Okay, so I'm long-winded. It takes me 30 minutes to tell a 5-minute story. I get it. I do. I really get it. I'm Chris Top. We'll get our dork on very, very shortly.
The Top, broadcasting live to at least 3 people on Spreaker.com. I enjoy a little booty in the britches from time to time. You don't have to be Latino or African American to appreciate a little hump in the rump. There's nothing like a pair of Levi's or Wranglers that are filled all the way to capacity. Honestly, I enjoy the booty dances. I have them all favorited on YouTube. I like a little wobble wobble, especially when I listen to Snoop Dogg. It's almost like a great booty closes any cultural gaps in society that may exist.
Mr. Pop.
Dorks of the world, unite. No, okay, listen closely. It's not woba, it's waba.
Take it from the top. Mr. Take it from the top.
This is the Chris Top Program, broadcasting worldwide to at least 3 people.
And I am the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. How the hell are you once again? I'm back, and I know I'm long-winded. I've got to reacclimate myself to these 30-minute episodes, and that could take a while. Now, there's some good news here, though. If I start doing 30-minute shows, maybe I can do them more often, as opposed to 1 2-hour show every few days. I might be able to do a 30-minute show every other day or you never know how this is going to play out. And Becca, if you leave, it's a fact you will miss it. But if you stay, you won't miss anything. You know, it'll probably be the same effect either way, honest to goodness. But I'm glad you're here, regardless. And I'm talking to Becca that's a voice in my head. And I'm also talking to the lovely, vivacious Kiss that is also a voice in my head. You're tuned into After Hours with the Top. I'm kidding. This is the Chris Top program. And, you know, I've got something that's going to probably hack off a lot of cat owners. I'm a cat owner myself, but I'm not crazy cat guy. All right? I have one cat. That's all I have. And you know, her name's Abby, and you know that if you've ever listened to the show before. And I think I know Abby pretty well. Abby spends 99% of the time bitching at me. That's pretty much what her meows mean. She's just bitching at me, and that's just how she is. I mean, there are reasons that Lassie was not a cat. And I'm going to tell you why, because there's no way a cat could say that that little Timmy had fallen down a well. It just wouldn't have happened. First off, the cat wouldn't have gave a crap. The cat would have looked over the well, saw little Timmy, and then walked off and chased something, or took a nap. See, for the cat, it wouldn't have been an urgent thing to go tell someone, hey, little Timmy's in the well, let me show you. See, little Timmy falls in the well, the cat looks, takes a nap, then forgets about it altogether. Because cats pretty much care about themselves. But I have a cat, so I'm okay with that. I understand that. Now, there are a lot of cat owners, however, that think, well, I know exactly what my cat's meow means. Well, there's a group of scientists that would say, no, you don't. And in cat talk, that would be meow. Now, researchers, and you know how I feel about these studies, I don't think they're worth the money. Who researched this? What does it even matter if we understand what our cats are trying to say? It doesn't matter. We just have them around to chase after strings and buttons. We have them around so we can scratch in several different situations. Okay, the situations ranging from being freaked out in a car, from feeding time, things like that. And then they played them back for the study participants. Now, the participants were then asked what the cats were trying to say. So were they right or were they wrong? That's what you want to know. I understand. They were largely unsuccessful. So they didn't have a clue what the cats were saying. And there's a reason for that. We don't speak cat. We don't know what cat. All we hear is them meowing. Now, I know that certain cats have a certain meow when they're in heat. I know that certain cats have certain meows for certain things. Or at least I think I know Abby's meows, but now I'm not even sure about that because of the stupid study. Now, cat owners and cat lovers performed much better than those who didn't. So, I mean, if you have a cat and you're constantly around cats, then maybe you have broke the code. Yes, I don't even know. Now, this is part 2 of getting to know Chris Top. Now, if you missed the first episode, I told you an unsuccessful... Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. She said yes, but then I ran. And when I say it like that, it pretty much describes most of my dating life. Yeah, because I'm used to the girls saying no, and then I just end up going home alone, and then even if they do say yes, again, I feel like maybe I'm on candid camera, and I run because I don't like surprises. If a hot girl says yes, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait, no, you were supposed to say no. You weren't supposed to say yes? See, that throws me off my game. Now I'm going to go home because I'm afraid that somebody's going to jump out somewhere with a YouTube camera or something, and they're going to make fun of me. I'm going to end up with flour on my head, or you're going to push me in the ocean, or something is going to happen like that. And that's not what I want. Just for crying out, just say no so I can just go home and watch a movie. That's normally what I do. And it's okay that you're late, Kendra. It's nice to have you here anyway. Becca says it's easy if my cat wants food. It goes by its dish and meows. Otherwise, it just wants to be annoying kitty. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess cats are pretty good. I mean, when your cat wants to play. I mean, like with Abby, if I reach down to rub her head and then she tries to cut my wrist off, then I know that she's ready to play. So I just have to take my wrist back on and then I play with her. And if she's hanging out by the food dish, yeah. But I mean, just when a cat simply meows. And I'm so weird because I'm used to Abby sleeping with me. She keeps me warm because all these other girls say no. She keeps me warm. So it's like I'll lay in the bed and I'm trying to avoid saying meow, because that's what all the cat owners do. And I don't know if a cat hears a meow like a meow. I think they just hear it like anything else we say, and that's like Charlie Brown's teacher. So I've gotten in the habit of just saying Abby, and then she just perked up. You couldn't see her, but she just perked up. She knows her name, and now she's biting me. But she knows that I called her, so I'll go lay in bed and I'll be like Abby, and then she'll come in there and she'll hang out with me. And now she walked away because she doesn't care anymore. And that's just how her attention span is worse than mine. I mean, if you think I get sidetracked, hang out with my cat for a while. Okay, I haven't even started this story yet, and I'm already 10 minutes into my broadcast is a third of the way over. So I'm going to tell you another story, and this is part 2 of getting to know the Top. Kendra says, I mock my cats, and they just look at me strangely. Kendra, it's because they're planning on killing you. So what you need to do is you need to call the FBI, and you need to tell them to come and get your cats, because there's something going on. And you need to take care of the situation immediately. Because that's how cats are. They're very deceitful. And Kendra says, obviously, she agrees with me. Now, this story, I used to be married. I was married at one time. My ex-wife, she stole the best part of my life. She stole my youth from me. Now I have nothing. No, we had a home. Well, luckily we had a home, and this is when my children were very young, Ashley and Christian. They were, I'm guessing 3 and 2, something like that. They were really, really young. So one particular day, I was being a great dad. I was sitting in the living room watching TV, and I was letting them do God knows what. And this happens sometimes. I mean, I worked hard, so I mean, on some of my downtime, I like to just be lazy and sit on the couch and watch TV. And you know what's funny? I could watch all the TV I wanted now, and I don't ever watch TV now. I never, ever, ever, ever watch TV. Some of the best advice I could give you: get rid of your cable. You don't need it. It's to the point now where there are way too many channels. We have access to way too much information. So any given point of the day, you're wasting 5 million channels because you've got it on one. Unless you have one of those split screens, but you're still wasting almost 5 million channels. And TV could be the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, and I don't want to be a part of that. And there are just other things that I want to do, because what's going to happen is I'm going to sit on the couch with my remote, and I'm just going to constantly hit the next channel. Rarely will I ever stop changing the channel. So I made the decision several years ago to get rid of cable. The only thing that I watch now, I can download it from the internet. I can watch on Hulu, or is it Hulu, or it's Hula? Whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. I watch The Office, and I watch, and you know what I'm going to say, I watch The Walking Dead. That's what I watch. I can get all that stuff off of the internet, and I can watch it when I want to. I don't have to plan my life around it. I don't have to say, oh, I've got to be home at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time because The Walking Dead's coming on. I can watch it whenever the hell I want. Back when I did have cable, I got TiVo, and I thought that was the best invention ever, because not only could you pre-record your programs, it took us away from being a slave to television, but when you watched it, you could fast forward through the commercials. I was like, wow, this doesn't even seem right. This doesn't even seem legitimate, but it was cool. But yeah, now I just watch everything online. I did. I got off the story, didn't I? I haven't even started the story yet. And Kendra says The Walking Dead is awesome. You know, and I can honestly say it probably is pretty awesome, because it's a really good show. It's a great show. Now I'm currently working on being awesome, and I should tell you this story first. Early on in the broadcast, if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm going to tell you that I'm working on being awesome. Now, why can't I just say I'm awesome? Well, I'm going to tell you why, because I'm not. And I feel like so many people out there just throw around the term way too lightly. And I've used this example 1,000 times, and I feel like I have to repeat myself because I have new listeners, and sometimes things just don't sink in unless you repeat yourself. So you take a greasy order of fries from McDonald's. And a lot of people would say, hey, these fries are awesome. But no, they're not. They're not awesome. They're just a greasy order of French fries. Now, you take a thunderstorm, or you take the birth of a child. You take an amazing painting by Picasso or somebody that's a good painter like that. I don't know. I just picked that. That can be awesome. It's my belief that there's nobody in the history of mankind that's ever been awesome. Now, there have been plenty of heroes. There have been plenty of men and women that have done awesome things. But no one is truly awesome. But it's something that we can constantly work on. It's something that we can work toward. And that's my goal in life, is to always work toward being awesome. Am I ever going to get there? No, I'm not ever going to get there. But it gives me something to do. It gives me something to work toward. And that's really all I'm after. So, how are you, Chris Top? Well, I'm WOBA. WOBA. I'm working on being awesome. Kendra says, I have time and space on my TV. Witchcraft. I don't even know what that means. Becca says, I love anime, and hey, I work at McDonald's. I love their fries. And you know, you can really like their fries. Their fries can be amazing. Their fries can be really, really good. Kendra says, why be great, powerful, or heroic when you can be awesome? And that's something, and that's why I'm working on it. That's exactly why I'm working on it. So back to the story. I'm going to run out of time. The show's half over. So I'm sitting in my house, and I'm flipping through channels, and my kids are out doing something. I don't know what they're doing. So my daughter comes in the living room, and she says, hey, Dad. I said, yeah, sweetie, what's up? I don't even think I looked at her. I said, hey, what's up? And she said, there's a fire in Christian's room. And of course, I didn't freak out and jump up immediately because I thought, well, she was just playing. And I think that's what most dads would think. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, whatever, ha ha ha. And then Christian comes running in there, and he says, and he's like, well, he didn't really say anything. He could barely talk. He's like, just like very nervous and twitchy and upset. And by this time, I could tell something was wrong. So I thought, well, maybe I should check this out. So I'm expecting to run in their bedroom and then them run in behind me and like push me and like just tackle me and stuff like that. You know, wanting some attention from Dad. That's what I was expecting. You know, in that movie, what is that movie about the Backdraft? You know how when they open doors and then you seen these gargantuous fires just going up the side of walls onto the ceiling, and people were dying and screaming and falling through these burning holes and running out of buildings when they were on fire and they died. Well, that's kind of what it was like when I opened the door. Hey, Holly, it's good to see you. Welcome to the Chris Top program. Okay, so I opened the door, and had I done the correct thing, I would have felt of the door first. But I didn't, because I didn't think there was going to be a fire. So I opened the door, and there's this fire that's starting on the bed, and it's following the wall, and it's making a little U-turn onto the ceiling. I freak the hell out. This totally caught me off guard. I was not expecting a forest fire in my daughter's bedroom. So I didn't know what to do. The first thing I do is I run to the bathroom, and there's this, and my smoke alarm eventually goes off. Once the smoke leaves her bedroom and goes to the living room or the hallway, it actually goes off. So I'm thinking, okay, the smoke alarm's going off. So the fire department's going to be here any minute. So my first thought was, okay, let's run to the bathroom. And as I'm going to the bathroom, and the bathroom's like 2 seconds, like just right across the hallway, because the kids had their own bathroom, and then we had a bathroom in the master bedroom. So I run to the bathroom, thinking, okay, there's a cup. I'm going to fill this cup up with water, and I'm going to put this forest fire out with this toothbrush cup. And then I say, kids, get out of the house. And like, again, they're 3 and 2 years old. All they heard was blah, 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 and that's all they heard. So I actually had to lead them out of the house. And there were no neighbors. This is the middle of the day. There's no neighbors. Nobody knows what's going on yet because the fire hasn't made its way out the window yet. So then I'm in the bathroom and I've got this toothpaste cup, And I fill it up. I'm sitting there, okay, it's filling up. It's filling up. And it's a little bitty cup. And I'm just like, okay, it's filled up, and now I'm going to go throw it on the fire. So I go throw it on the fire, and it's like the water like disintegrates before it even hits this huge fire. It's just gone. So I try this a couple of times, and I have fire extinguishers in the house. But you're not thinking at the time. And plus, the fire extinguishers were probably 50 years old. And I would have pulled the pin and pushed the little lever thing, and it probably would have dribbled. Like when you get done with a good pee, and then you dribble a little. That's what it would have done. So I do 2 or 3 cups, and the water just goes shh, and it turns to steam immediately. So I'm like, all right, I can let the house burn down. The kids are outside, or I can think of something else to do. So the kids are standing on the deck. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, everything that's on fire, I need to get it out of the house. So there are pillows on her bed. So what I do is I take my elbow and I ram it through the window. And I'm kidding, I didn't do that, but it would have been cool. I open the window, and then I just sort of push the screen out. I did that very manly. I pushed it out. And then I started throwing things that were on fire out the window. So what would you think my neighbors would have been saying? They look over at my house and they see flaming objects just flying out of the window, and they see my kids on the deck just screaming. And I'm telling you, for the next 10 years, my son was petrified of fires. I would grill on the deck. I would light up the charcoal, and he would start screaming bloody freaking murder every time. Every time I did it, he would scream bloody murder. Back to the story. So I start throwing all these flaming objects out of the window. And remember, you've got to remember this part. I was relaxing just minutes earlier. I had my T-shirt on with my Cheeto stains on it. I had my half drunken Mountain Dew on the little stand by the couch. I'm in my boxer shorts. And I didn't have on my, okay, let's go to the doctor to get a physical boxer shorts either. Okay, just so you know. So I'm throwing flaming objects out the window. And then I'm looking at this mattress. This mattress that's on fire, and I'm thinking, okay, this mattress is not going to fit through the window. So I grabbed it. I grabbed it like Bear Grylls would grab a wild animal. And I just start pulling it out of the house. And as I'm pulling it out of the house, little pieces of the carpet are catching on fire. So I get this double-size mattress to the door, and by this time the neighbors had already freaked out, and they'd ran over and got my kids and took them back to their house. So I didn't throw the mattress on my kids. So I I took the mattress and I took it outside and I threw it in the yard so it could finish burning. And for months I had this perfectly mattress-shaped burn on my front lawn as a good reminder of what happened. So I got the largest part of the fire out. The ceiling hadn't caught on fire yet, but there was this. It was just black where the fire had gotten. But now I had all these little mini fires that I'd started on the way out of the house. So I grabbed the first thing I could find, and I had my collection of CDs that were on this little stand by the door. So I start taking out the CDs. So I pulled out Billy Joel. I was like, ooh, I'm not going to use that one. So then I pull out like Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So I take that one, and then I throw it on these little baby fires. So I'm using my compact disc, and I should have known because I should have known that music was going to go the way of MP3s. So it was okay to use the CDs because a lot of you probably don't know what CDs are now. So I'm putting out all these fires. Okay, here's Barbie Girl. Let's use that one. That one doesn't belong to me. No. So I use that one to put out a fire. And then I go back to her bedroom and I take a blanket and I start putting other things out. And her room is gone. I mean, there's nothing left. There's like just a skeleton left of her bed, and everything's black, and the smoke had just rolled out of the bedroom into the house. All the clothes were ruined. Everything was ruined. But I got the fire put out, and at the time, I had more of a blonde goatee going on, but the black smoke had actually turned it dark black, and I actually looked kind of cool. I looked very Tony Starkish. But it wasn't a permanent thing. It was I washed it out. So, about this time, I go out on the deck because I need a deep breath, because as I was pulling that mattress that was on fire out, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was just going to die right there because these flames were going right up in my face and the smoke was going up in my face. I thought, okay, I'm not going to make it to the front door. I'm going to pass out and I'm going to die right here in my living room. I'm going to drop dead. I'm going to die from the smoke, and then I'm going to catch on fire, and then is this even worth it? Because I thought about just throwing the mattress down and then just running outside. That's what I thought about doing. So I get the fire put out. Now, you've probably forgotten already about my smoke alarm going off and calling the fire department. So then help has finally arrived. So who shows up? It's not the fire department. It's one female cop. And I don't say female because I don't think she's capable of her job. I'm going to tell you why that's important in a second. So one female cop pulls up in my driveway. She gets out of her car with a clipboard. Not a water hose. Not a fire extinguisher. The fire department never pulls up behind her. It called one freaking cop to my house that was burning down. So I sit there on my deck, and I'm like, okay, I just put the fire out. The cop's here. So I'm sitting there on my deck, and I look up at the cop, and I'm just covered with soot or black stuff from my bare feet all the way to the top of my head. And I look up at her, and she says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, I just put my house out. It was burning down." I said, "What do you think?" And she looks at me and she smiles. And I'm thinking in my mind, why in the hell are you smiling? I could have just died. My kids were in this house. They could have died. And in case you're wondering, they had one of those grill lighters that you use to start a grill. They were playing with it like it was a gun, and they thought it would be a good idea. My daughter thought it would be a great idea to set the corner of her bed on fire. Like the little sheet that was hanging down. She thought that would be a good, fun idea. So that's why she did that. So I'm sitting there on my deck, and the police officer smiles at me. I'm thinking, why in the hell are you smiling at me? I almost died. So out of frustration, I just looked down. And remember, I tell you that I'm wearing boxer shorts that I wouldn't wear to a physical. And basically what that means is, as I'm sitting there, my balls are just hanging out of my boxer shorts. Kind of resting up against the steps. So she's looking at my junk. And that's why she was smiling. And that's my most vivid memory from the whole thing is some chick cop saw my testicles. This is the Chris Top program. Thank you guys so much for listening. And Guy just came in the chat. Guy, I want to welcome you to the chat. And I noticed all those good things you guys are saying, but I also noticed I'm running out of time. So I can't keep going. But Guy says, Chris, I'm posting your new account info all over the damn place. I really think that you need to get what you desire. And Holly does know what CDs are, so I apologize. Becca says, Chris Top is bloody amazing. It has to be everyone on the internet, and I got a bunch of CDs. Guy says, he is really good enough. Trust me, I know after 35 years in FM radio past, and he works too hard not to make it. Plus, he's already better than many shows already on iHeart. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate that. It really does mean a lot. I'm totally out of time. Thank you guys so much. I don't take you for granted. Life is good, and I'm gone.
You have been exposed to the Chris Top program. Tune in next,
Yeah, I don't have a schedule.
right.